No surprise, LeBron James opted out of his deal with the Cavs to become a free agent this summer. LeBron has said he has no plans to leave Cleveland, but how much will it cost the Cavs to keep the king happy? Let's take a look at the highest paid athletes in the world in each sport. In soccer, Cristiano Ronaldo making $53 million a year.
Wow.
Zach Greinke in baseball at $34 million. And right now, how about that? DeMar DeRozan at $28 million. The question
that will
now
change.
Is, yeah, exactly. How much is LeBron James worth? Oh, we'll start with you.
In the New Jack NBA?
New Jack.
I would say $100 million, more. Look, the guy guarantees you to get to the NBA Finals. What is that worth to you, to any owner that wants to win, right? On top of that, he sells out crowds. He sells out buildings. He's polarizing, right? No matter what you have, you either love him or you hate him, but he does get his team to the NBA Finals. And when he gets there, it matters. People wonder what he's going to do, what he's wearing. I mean, look, LeBron the other day was seen wearing some shirt, right? It says "Good to be Bron" or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? People are talking about that. Or
on that yacht.
Or he wears the, the Ultimate Warrior shirt. He wears the Ultimate Warrior shirt, and he's trolling the Warriors, and he has a little hat with Kermit sipping the tea, right? We care about what LeBron says. That, to me, is currency that you can't pay for. It's priceless currency. So if you want your team to matter, you want your team to win, yeah, I think LeBron is worth more. And look, I think after next year, if he signs another one-year deal, he's supposed to make like, what, $26 million, $27 million. After that, he might be able to sign a 6-year deal worth $240 or $230 million. And in today's NBA, like if you were to think if Michael Jordan were playing today, and Michael Jordan, when he played, Michael, I think, and Kobe are the only ones ever to make $30 million or more in one season. Michael would be worth an insane amount. And so LeBron is probably not, I'm not comparing their games, but I'm talking about marketing-wise and impact and everything that he brings. He probably has the same type of draw that Michael had.
Going back to the point I made a few segments ago and talking about the TV deal that the NBA has in place, right? Was it... I know 9 years. 9 years, $24 billion. And going back to this NBA championship, the highest viewed, the highest watched NBA championship ever in the history of the NBA. Not to take anything away from Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. They were such a great storyline all season long. But let's face it, at the end of the day, it's LeBron. Look around our wide world of sport, and there's only a few players, a few athletes that I feel that demand that type of attention and that type of viewership. Tiger, right? I mean, let's face it, Sunday in red, walking down 18, we were all watching. Alex Rodriguez, if you recall at some point in time, kind of like that polarizing figure, especially when he first went to the Yankees. I mean, that was a big draw for the Yes Network.
A-God?
and then let's go to individual sports. I mean, look how much money we pay to watch Floyd Mayweather and Ronda Rousey fight.
Or Serena Williams in tennis.
Exactly. So he is that. You have to put him in that caliber. So listen, I think whatever team he plays for, whether it's Cleveland, you pay him the $100 million, whatever he wants. You pay him because he is worth it. His jersey, one of the highest-selling jerseys in the NBA. You're right, he tours around, he goes to different NBA arenas, and everybody comes out to see him. But at the end of the day, in regard to the TV dealership, and that's where all this money is coming from, God bless LeBron James. And all these guys that are making all this money in the NBA, give LeBron a percentage, because he's such a huge reason why these NBA TV deals are what they are, because the ratings are so high, because, as you said, love him or hate him, everybody wants to tune into LeBron James, and that's why the ratings are where they're at.
I'm going to throw this number out there, and it's going to sound completely crazy, maybe because it is. LeBron is worth $515 million.
How'd you come up with that number?
Since 2014, the Cavs franchise has doubled to $1.1 billion. In 2 years that he came back to Cleveland, they have gone from $515 million to $1.1 billion worth as a franchise.
Wow.
He's never going to see that kind of money. We clearly understand that. Even though he's vice president of the NBA union, and they can opt out of the CBA after December 15th because they have that over 36 rule that a player in the final year of his contract, if he's 36, they can't make that kind of money. They can't, for example, prevents players from getting a 4 or 5 year max that will be 36 years of age in the final deal. LeBron's 31 years of age. But I saw that number. Since 2014, in 2 years that he's been in Cleveland, the Cavs franchise has gone from $515 million as worth of a franchise to $1.1 billion. he's worth over $500 million just to one franchise in the NBA. Can you even imagine exponentially how much that is to the rest of the NBA, the kind of money that he is helping to put into the pockets of every single owner in the NBA? And this is not being on LeBron's jock. The facts tell me that everybody else is on the jock of LeBron James based on what he did for Cleveland. Cleveland was a basketball wasteland. The 4 years he went to Miami. I mean, my dad said, man, I didn't know Kyrie Irving was this good. I said, yeah, he wasn't on TV for 4 years because LeBron was in Miami and nobody knew how good he was. LeBron goes back to Cleveland. Everything changed. You don't think Dan Gilbert is thanking his lucky stars that LeBron James had the heart that he had? Because most other people have been like, you know, Dan Gilbert, you said that about me. You put that out there. Coming back to play for your behind, I'm not doing it. LeBron said, Northeast Ohio, Akron and Cleveland means a lot more to me than worrying about you. He has literally made Dan Gilbert a richer man. That's the kind of money LeBron James is worth, not just to Cleveland, but to the NBA.
And look, obviously, they have David Griffin, but who's really calling the shots in Cleveland? It's LeBron.
It's LeBron.
Right?
You got to make him happy.
David Blatt didn't survive. Tyronn Lue was basically LeBron's guy, right? LeBron's got to sign off on all these guys that he wants, the players that he wants on that roster, and it worked. How much is a championship worth in Cleveland? It's
every penny.
Yeah, it's probably worth $1 billion, right? So LeBron brought them a championship that nobody ever thought was possible. You probably have to give him what, and in today's NBA, he's probably worth, like I said, it's not outlandish to say, $100 million.
When LeBron first went back to Cleveland, there was an article, I think it was by Forbes, that said his worth, his value to the city of Cleveland was at $500 million, was $500 million. That was when he first went back to Cleveland, didn't even have a championship. I will give you a fun stat. $40 million a year, over 82 games a season, at 40 minutes per game, pretty detailed, equals over $200 a second. That's what LeBron
He's not
James,
even going to play 40 minutes a game, not for an entire season.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, he'll play like
Thanks for getting meticulous on that stat.
So which means
you brought meticulous numbers to the table. Now you get mad at him.
I know.
So now Ohm's the bad guy. Ohm's the bad guy now.
You know what? You're one of the Asians. You're supposed to be good at math here, Chowster.
Oh, really?
Okay.
We're doing that now?
That's all true. It's all true.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, we have more of that on our podcast, Fresh Off the Bench. I digress.
Oh, then we segue into that now.
We're the only two Asians not good at math.
Perfect point. That's true. Prim Surippapat as well. Now that the wheels have gone,
let's just set every stereotype out here now.
Yeah.
Black people can dance. Let's do that whole thing now.
Almost as bad as the Mets?
Coming up
I'm sorry, too soon.
on the show, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady have won 4 rings together. Does that make Belichick the best coach in the NFL, or does having Brady actually give him an advantage? The Thunder are in strong position to re-sign Kevin Durant after a successful meeting yesterday, league sources tell ESPN's Mark Stein. Now, multiple sources, including friends and business associates of KD, previously told the Undefeated's Mark J. Spears that barring an unbelievable pitch from other interested teams, expect KD to return to Oklahoma City next season. So if KD does go back to the Thunder, will they be the favorites in the West? It wouldn't seem like they would be because there's that team that just won 73 games. But, Freddie, you're saying they are?
They would be the favorites right now. And I think they would be the favorites. They swing a deal. Al Horford, that's not just a yes. That's a hell yes if they're able to swing that deal. I look at this team because we know Golden State is going to have to come back down. There's no way they're going to win 70. They might not even win 65 games next year. You have a push like that, there's going to be a normal – you're going to come back to the pack when those things happen. Also, Oklahoma City knows this, and everybody knows it now. They have them dead to rights, up 3-1 in that series. And I give Golden State all the credit in the world that they were able to dig out of that hole. Just what Cleveland did to them in the next series. I don't think I've ever seen that before. They did to Oklahoma City. But I think Kevin Durant is going to be a man possessed because he wants to show people not only he can win a championship, but he can also do it in Oklahoma City and do it with Russell Westbrook. Everybody has banged on Russell Westbrook so much. Kevin Durant was always in his corner because he always had that belief that these two can make it work together. So whether it's a one-year deal or a multi-year deal that he's going to sign eventually Oklahoma City, I think next year I can see him signing a multi-year deal with that organization to stay there. But because of that motivation, I think they're going to be the most motivated team going into the NBA next season. Right now in the West, I think they are the favorites right now because of his decision, the draft, also what Sam Presti, the general manager, did. You give him a shooting guard who's not named Dion Waiters, a guy who can actually make shots, known as Victor Oladipo, and play defense. Now you help out your front line a little bit. And if you have to trade away somebody else to bring in Al Horford, you're adding him with Steven Adams on that front line with Kevin Durant. Based on that, and I believe Sam Presti has more than a couple of moves up his sleeve because I have that belief in him. I will put Oklahoma City right now as the favorites in the West, even though Golden State is not going.
You have him as a favorite with Al Horford or without?
Even without Al Horford.
Even without Al Horford.
I think they'd be the favorites in the West, even without him.
And what if they get Al Horford and say Golden State signs Pau Gasol?
They're a better team than Golden State. I would take them over them.
See, I still think that as much as I like the moves, and I love the Oladipo move, although I do think they're going to miss Serge Ibaka. I think they're going to miss his block shots, his ability to hit from the outside. And Al Horford could definitely fill that role to a certain degree. I think there's going to be a transition period for that team because they got some new pieces. And that's coming from a guy that grew up in Maryland, and so did Oladipo and Durant. So I'm eager to see that tandem there with Westbrook. But I think Golden State is motivated. I think if Golden State goes and gets Pau Gasol, I think he'd fit terrific in that offense. He might not be the defensive center that Bogut is, but I do think offensively he's better than him, and he can do some of the things that Draymond can do as far as passing. He can hit the outside shot. I think he'd be a great fit. I still have Golden State as the top team in the West.
So I agree with you. I think Oladipo, I think that makes the Thunder a better team. I think if they do re-sign KD and they bring in Al Horford, I think it's a toss-up. I think it's a toss-up between them and Golden State. I have a question for you gentlemen, though. Game 5, Draymond Green is not suspended. Do you feel the Warriors win the NBA championship?
I'm the worst person with hypotheticals. I never deal with hypotheticals.
Well, I'm throwing one at you right now.
My answers will.
It's a holiday weekend. Play along with me.
Anita, my answers will never know because LeBron had that cool and calm collectedness about him, and everybody fed off of that. They may have been able to beat Golden State with
I'd be
Draymond
pretty
Green
cool
there.
and calm if Draymond Green was out of game.
Anita,
Look, he's from Michigan State.
I'll say for Freddie, yes, the series is over, and Golden State would be the champions because not only did they not have Draymond in Game 5, Draymond awoke the king by calling him the B word in that game, okay? And then LeBron had his whole manhood questioned by Klay Thompson, saying he might be a little sensitive. And then,
well, that's true.
And then Mrs. Curry got into it a little bit, questioning him, not taking the high road. LeBron had to respond, and LeBron was a totally different guy from Game 4 moving on. He played like the biggest, strongest, and fastest guy on the court, like he's supposed to play in all those games, and that turned the series. If Draymond doesn't do that, and Draymond's my boy, I love Draymond, okay?
Look at it this way. And
the Golden State Warriors are the champs.
So, Anita, you know this. You come at the king, you best not miss. He came at the king, and look what happened.
I get all that, but I think, you know, the story's been all about LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers and their parade and what they've been able to do and coming back 3-1. But I think with all that celebration about what LeBron and what this team was able to do, I think we've kind of lost sight on what could have been. Well, in my opinion, what should have been. This is a Golden State Warriors team who was up 3-1.
Yep.
I truly believe if Draymond Green would have played Game 5, I think the Warriors would have won. On top of that, you have a Steph Curry. Refs not too favorable with him in Game 6. Okay, wait, I got more.
Okay, I know you do. I got something.
And also, you've got a Steph Curry who was not. He was a shell of himself. I mean, we're talking shoulder, we're talking knee, we're talking ankle. You are arguing. The debate is best player in the NBA, LeBron or Steph Curry. Steph Curry was a shell of himself, and you take the best man on that team. I think we lose sight in regard to all that went wrong. You have got such a huge smile on your face.
Oh man, have I got something? Have I got something?
All that went wrong for the Golden State Warriors because we're embracing all that went right for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay. So to answer your question, no, I think that the Golden State Warriors are hands down the best team in the NBA. And you talk about coming back with a vengeance. You don't think Steph Curry is coming into this season? You don't think that this summer is going to be so difficult for him and Klay Thompson? You don't think that they're going to come into 2016, 2017 with a vengeance, with a chip on their shoulder?
Anita, the Warriors came out to play. to bring some memory to your memory, this Golden State Warriors team was fully healthy when they won the championship, and Cleveland was up 2-1. And I didn't want to hear any excuses because Cleveland did not have Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. And I didn't play the hypothetical game then, and I'm not going to play it now. The same rule applies when it comes to Golden State. I don't want to hear it about Steph Curry being injured or not being his full self, because LeBron did not have his full team, and they still had a 2-1 series lead on Golden State last year.
But you're talking about LeBron not having his full team, Freddie. You're not talking about LeBron being injured.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. You're talking about the two best players in the league.
I let you have your say. You're going to let me have my say.
Okay.
You use the argument that Steph Curry was a shell of himself and Draymond Green wasn't there. You use that hypothetical to back up your argument about Golden State.
And I threw in the zebras. I threw in the zebras, too.
You can do whatever you want. Referees are going to screw up games. They completely screwed the pooch in the series. That's what referees do, what we've seen in the NBA. But if you're going to use that to back up Golden State, then you got to use the same argument and flip it for Cleveland, because they didn't have Kyrie Irving because he got injured after Game 1. They didn't have Kevin Love because he got injured early on against Boston, and they had a 2-1 series lead. I didn't give any excuses then to Cleveland. I said, look, handle it or be handled. Golden State, you're up 3-1 with a busted Steph Curry. You did not win that series, and you had 2 of those games at home, Game 5 and Game 7. You were not able to finish the job. Why? I don't care why. Handle it or be handled. If we're going to use that for Cleveland, that they had a chance and got handled, we got to use the same thing for Golden State, especially when they were up 3-1 and let that lead get away.
Your argument is that LeBron did not have his supporting cast. My argument is that Steph Curry, here, you've got LeBron, you got Steph Curry. We're talking about the 2 guys that are the straw that stirs the drink for these 2 teams. So what I'm saying is Steph Curry, his straw was broke. You're trying to get the last of the Coke, and the straw's got a rip in it.
And it's like, he had 38 in one of those games. He had 38 in Game 4. When he was busted, he had 38 in Game 4. He missed wide open shots that had nothing to do with his injury, especially down the stretch in Game 7 in the fourth quarter.
Come on, man.
He missed wide open shots now.
Both
of you guys have the right point, because, look, I think Cleveland allowed Golden State last year, because of all the injuries, to learn what it was like to win a championship. And this year, I think, as amazing as it sounds, and we say this about LeBron James because he had already won, I feel like LeBron needed to find himself in this finals. Totally. And what happened with Draymond and then Klay Thompson and all that, I don't think it's any coincidence that he awoke after that. And now LeBron sees how he has to play in order to win a championship without Dwayne Wade. I think he figured that out. The only way to settle this argument is that they both meet the finals next year. And I think
okay with that.
And I think Golden State is still better than Oklahoma City, which was the beginning of this topic.
I still think Oklahoma City right now, they should be the favorites in the West. I mean, we'll see. There's still much more free agency things to go.
This is what's going to be interesting. July 8th, because, we're talking about free agency now. July 7th is when they sign. Really interesting. I love those dudes in Vegas, the wise guys in Vegas. For some reason, I don't know what it is, they are in the know. I'm curious, who do they? Right now, they have Golden State favored. Yeah. Right now, they have Golden State favored.
Yeah. Those wise guys pick Golden State to win the NBA championship.
Let's see what Vegas says. Let's see who Vegas favors July 8th.
Those wise guys pick Golden State to win over Cleveland.
All this LeBron talk, we might all agree that LeBron may be worth the highest, should be the highest paid player in the league.
Best player in the league. You're right.
Okay. Well, is he a $40 million a year guy? We're going to debate that next. LBJ, $40 million a year. Yes or no?